We're on.
Good morning. Welcome everyone to day 2 of Access Russia 2021. This is our 6th annual Access Russia event and our second time doing it virtually. The focus of today is corporations and startups. We just had a fantastic day yesterday with VCs, about 40 different investors, venture capital firms, and private investors with startups, about 30 different one-on-one meetings. And we're really excited for today to do more work with corporations focused on business development and potential investment. I'd like to pass it on over to Ed Frank, our CEO of Access Innovation, to share our opening remarks.
Yes. Hello, everyone. Good morning. Thank you for joining us today. It's really exciting to be able to participate. Unfortunately, we can't be there in person with you. And I wanted to just share with you a little bit of background on Access and the work that we've been doing over these past a year and a half since we met some of you actually in Moscow. So I'm going to just share my screen right now. And hold on 1 second. Okay, I just wanted to say that this is our 6th annual edition of the Access Russia, and we've really seen a lot of cooperation in Russia between Israel and the startups that we're working with, and we've had the pleasure of working with a number of corporations from Russia over the past 2 years. And really, when we were last in Moscow, actually almost 2 years ago, who would have expected how the world would have changed and how much digital transformation has become just so important for these corporations and for startups. But before we begin, I just wanted to thank our sponsors today for helping us put this on. DLA Piper, Leo Batilev, who you'll have a chance to hear from in a few minutes. And the FinCon Group, which DLA Piper, which is the world's largest law firm and very strong #1 player with VCs and corporations and startups in Russia. And the FinCon Group, Tanya will be also joining us in a little bit, and you'll have a chance to hear about the financial services that she provides both to corporations and to startups. The IE University out of Spain, who have programs for both corporations and startup founders, and you'll have a chance to hear from Victoria, who's also been with us in the past, and the MTS Startup Hub. You'll hear from Alexander a little bit later. This is the leading technology hub and incubator for startups in Russia. So all very exciting. Thank you for your support. So today we actually will be hearing from a number of startups in 4 different areas in retail, mobility, fintech, and consumer. And we've chosen those startups that we felt were most suited for the people who are attending today. And today we have also wanted to give you some background on the work that we do at Access and how we've transitioned over the past year and a half. So the 3 areas that we focus on, which is mainly the corporate consulting and conferences and the startup advisory, just in the past year, we've added 5 corporate clients, as I mentioned earlier, startups and corporations starting to realize that this is really the new normal. And we are happy that we have the ability to communicate with people over the web and to make deals happen. We've had over 25 conferences over the web, virtual conferences with participants from all over the world. So we've expanded our reach. And what's also important, obviously before COVID, is the opportunity to meet people face to face. So until we're back to that, I think that the virtual conferences such as today's really fill a void. And we've closed 3 deals with startups and investors. And actually, from our last event last year in Moscow, we've closed a couple of deals. And in terms of what is unique about Access, well, between our conferences and clients, we see almost 1,000 startups a year. And we are quite proud in the fact that the percentage of those startups that we choose to participate go on to raise funding. And we have a very good track record on that regard. And a lot of the investors that we see are quite eager to work with startups that are engaging with corporations. And that's why we separate this event between yesterday, where we had mostly investors, and today corporations. So on our open innovation practice, and we have today participating a number of our clients, we focus on the venture scouting, We've done virtual tours of different technology centers, of course, mostly Israel, and we've done it in person, and we'll be happy to do that again. We've also done a lot of custom events, and we've also invested in our own proprietary software platform to engage between startups and corporations. That's been particularly important. And just some of our clients that we work with, obviously in Russia, we've been honored to work with Kaspersky and the RITA participants and some other brands that you might be familiar with. I wanted to also just briefly give you a case study of Ford, which is really a client that we've been working with over these past 6 years. Each year we've created a program for them to scout all across Europe and Israel to find innovative startups. And this past year, we moved to a completely virtual format where we had participants from Ford from all over the world, 6 different global locations, from China all the way to Silicon Valley. And we had 30 startups from 18 countries participating, and it was very effective in bringing in many different elements and different people from within Ford to meet startups and to engage with them. And I wanted to share with you a very short video of one of the startups that Ford is engaging with that is now incorporated into the Ford Mustang. And you can see how even a company as large as Ford is relying on open innovation to use these technologies to help advance their main products, which are, of course, cars. So I wanted to
At Ford, we're obsessed with creating distinctive technologies for our customers. And one of our newest connected vehicle developments is Mappo, a new navigation app available on Ford Sync. Building beyond navigation apps that plan your route, this leads you on a journey to pop culture or historical points of interest. You just select a pre-programmed route and hear geographic-based tidbits of trivia about film and TV, literature, music, and history. Just add a pin on the map with a pop culture reference about that place for others to discover.
In the words of our founder, Henry Ford,
it's a fun way to explore the places you know and the places you might be road tripping to for the very first time. Mappo is launching first on Ford Sync.
So I wanted to just bring that video to your attention because it's become so important for even these large corporations to use technology and innovation to help sell their existing products. And as Ford is moving to becoming a services company as well as a hardware manufacturer of cars, we see that digital transformation happening in many areas of that company. So thank you for joining us today. We also have in the audience a number of international corporations that are joining. And on the chat, we're happy to, if you raise your hand, we're happy to let you introduce yourself also to the startups and to the other corporations. So it's now my pleasure to introduce to you Yakir Davidson, who's the head of the Economic and Trade Mission at the Israeli Embassy in Russia. We've been honored to work with Yakir over these past, since he was appointed to Russia about 2 years ago, and we've cooperated greatly over this past while to help bring Israeli innovations to Russia. Yakir, thanks for joining us today, and I appreciate your support. Yakir.
Thank you very much, Ed. Thank you, the entire Axis team. It's always a pleasure to cooperate with you. Yes, I've been in Russia almost 3 years, but also my predecessor, we at the office here, the trade office, have been cooperating with Axis since the beginning, and it's been a great pleasure. As you know, this year we celebrate 30 years of the renewed diplomatic relations between Israel and the Russian Federation. We're now at the, I'd say, almost the pinnacle of our relations, where we're in a very good state of relations between the countries in all aspects, whether it's cultural, in any aspect, and of course the economic aspect, which is a very important bridge between people and between countries. And this is exactly the reason why activities such as the ones that you do and such as this event are that important for relationships and for relations between countries, and especially between Israel and Russia. And this is why we we enjoy and love cooperating with you, and this is why today is so important. So I wish everyone who participates today a very successful and fruitful day, both the startups and of course the corporations who will be able to see here today very interesting startups. I wish you all a successful day. Thank you again.
Okay. Thank you very much, Yakir, for those kind words. And again, once you start working with companies in Israel, it's important to keep that door open with Yakir and with the ambassador who we had here yesterday. At this point, I'd like to introduce you to our partner, Ksenia Borbacheva, who's the Deputy CEO of the Moscow Innovation Agency, who we are partnering with this year. And thank you very much, Ksenia, for joining us, and looking forward to continuing our cooperation.
Thank you very much for introduction. Hi, everyone. And it's for me, it's a great pleasure to participate in your in today's event. So, and I want just to say a few words about the Moscow government innovation politics and about our key products and key projects of Moscow government and Moscow Agency of Innovations. As far as you know, or maybe somebody don't have any information yet, the Moscow Agency of Innovations, some kind of system operator of the city innovation ecosystem, and the Moscow government now strives to make the capital comfortable and convenient city for all residents without exceptions. And no doubt, in this case, innovations help us to do it. So therefore, it's extremely important for Moscow to develop innovations and support technological entrepreneurs and the development of innovation infrastructure, organization of access to market for high-tech companies, and promotion of the capital as a digital city and a full-fledged participant of the global market is also the responsibility of the Moscow Agency of Innovations. And just I want to say a few words about K projects of Moscow Agency of Innovation. And the K project is one of the most K projects is the Moscow Acceleration Program. This is some kind of flagship project of the Moscow government aimed at scaling innovative solutions in promising industries in partnership with the major corporations also, and major corporations market leaders. In the Moscow Acceleration Program, the city and the corporations helps startups formulate a problem, and the government and also the corporation, they support entrepreneurs, and then they implement the best solutions in their ecosystems, not only in the corporation ecosystems, but also in the city ecosystem. At the same time, neither the city nor the corporations claim a share of interfere in the operations based on the results or of the gas pedal. The effectiveness of this model is confirmed by the results, unlike the similar accelerators, which organize an average 3 or 4 acceleration programs during the first year. We launched the 7 programs in the first year, and our program starts in 2019. So now we are not almost 2 years old, but up to this time we had 10 accelerating programs, and I think that this is the great results. And our programs, they are very different. We have the digital service accelerator in partnership with Yandex, and we have Biomedtech accelerator in partnership with such a great leaders of the biomedtech market like Himrar and In Vitro. And also we have launched the FinTech accelerator with the FinTech Association and 7 banks. and also the Martech with Megaphone, the telecom, the big telecom operator in Russian market, and also with we've launched accelerator with Rosatom, so some kind of government cooperation. And now we have finished the 2 accelerator with a huge company Severstal in the build tech industry and engineering tech with the national engineering corporations and the huge corporation Dassault Systems. And Moscow Accelerator is a platform for innovative projects of various formats from a wide range of industries. In total, now we have over 4,000 companies who have applied for participation in the Moscow Accelerator programs. And now we have almost 250 graduates of our acceleration programs, and all of them.
Yes. Thank you very much, but we have to move on with our program. So thank you very much, Ksenia, for joining us. And I want to introduce Jason Weiss, who's going to be picking up the ball here.
Thank you, Ed. Thank you so much, Ksenia. It's great to partner with you. We're really excited our first year to do hopefully a lot more work together in the future. So I'm pleased to start off the event and introduce our moderator and the first session. Before I do, I'll say a couple of words just about how the sessions go. For those of you who joined us before, either virtually or in person, you'll be familiar. Don't worry, there's lots of exciting new companies, but the format is relatively the same. We have 2 startup pitching sessions. Each session will have 4 companies. They will present for a few minutes, followed by a few minutes of Q&A from our panel. We have a fantastic lineup of panelists coming across some of the largest Russian corporations joining us and speaking here. After each startup pitch, we're going to post a poll question through Zoom, asking if you would like to meet with this company. This is super important. We are really here to make business and make new deals happen. So if you're interested to meet one-on-one with this company, click yes. We will try and arrange it later today. We have some time for one-on-one meetings, but if not, then we'll make an introduction so you can have a more in-depth conversation next week or in the future. We've seen many successful deals, investment and business deals come out of this conference, and that's what we're really here for. That's what we've worked the past 3 months, meeting with dozens and dozens, more than 100 Israeli companies to find the ones we think are most exciting, most innovative, and provide the most relevant solutions to the Russian market and Russian partners. So without further ado, I'd like to pass it on to our good friend and partner, Leo Batlov from DLA Piper. Partner, we've worked with Leo for the past 6 years in Russia, hosted us many times in their great office in Moscow. Now it's virtual, but we really appreciate all the support that you've given us over the years and the great work that DLA Piper does with investors in Russia and startups really all over the world. So Leo, passing it on to you to moderate and open up the first session.
Yeah, thanks, Jason, and I appreciate the kind words. I appreciate the introduction. I'll try to be brief, so to save more time for the pitches and the important stuff. My name is Leo Batalov. I'm the co-head of DLA Venture Capital Emerging Growth Companies Practice. I practice law basically in Russia and with Russian kind of based founders, investors around the globe. But DLA is the biggest law firm by headcount, with offices everywhere you need to be or don't need to be. My job at DLA is to make sure the emerging growth companies support practice for startups, investors, including corporate VCs. By the way, we have one of the, well, not one of the, recognized as the best corporate VC practice worldwide. So my job is to make sure the offering that we have, legal offering supporting investors and startups, that anywhere you are starting on the east from Tokyo, Sydney, moving through Singapore, Israel, Moscow, Berlin, Helsinki, London, you name it, and all the way into the East Coast, the West Coast, Silicon Valley, etc. We all work as a seamless machine, because startups, that to be successful, you don't have to be fully global, but you can be just a regional player to be a successful startups that attracts the attention of investors and acquirers and whatnot. We support investors with their investments. We also support companies starting from the garage stage when people come to us with an idea through IPOs and exits and everything in between, from stock option, employment issues, tax, IP protection, you name it. So this is about me. We've been partnering with Axis since they came to Russia 6 years ago. We're delighted to see them in our offices in Moscow every year. This year, the COVID restrictions put the travel is difficult. By the way, our office is closed now, and but I told that you're not getting rid of me that easily, and so I moved to Ra'anana next door to Ed. And you see, this is not a back screen. This is real greenery. And I'm sitting in Ra'anana in relative shade and cool compared to Moscow, because it's hotter in Moscow right now than in Israel. So here we are, and I'm pleased to to kick off the panel and introduce the speakers. I'm glad to be part of this event, and I thank you for the opportunity every time you guys you invite me. It's a pleasure. And with no further ado, I will start with so how this works. My thankless job is to introduce the people and then cut them off right when they go for too long. So every presenter has 5 minutes, so please stay on time. And then we have a few minutes for Q&A from our panel. So the first company is Perizon. And Galit, the CEO and the co-founder of the company, will present.
Sorry, hello. It's Eduardo actually.
Eduardo. Okay.
I'm running the strategy and business development at the Perizon. So let me share my screen.
Leo, maybe you could have the panelists introduce themselves first.
Oh yeah, I apologize. Right. We have a. Yeah, I'll just ask the panelists to. The panel consists of investors, and I will just basically turn over to the guys to introduce themselves. And I'll briefly, if I have this right, we have. I don't know. I apologize because the agenda has changed. I just Elizaveta. Here it is. Elizaveta Kalinchuk, Innovation Manager at Magnit Innovation Center. If you could introduce yourself, say a few words about yourself.
Thank you, Leo. Thank you, colleagues. Very glad to meet you, to be here today. My name is Elizaveta. As Leo said, I represent Magnit. If you are not familiar, it's largest Russian grocery retailer, not actually only grocery, but we also carry pharmaceutical, beauty products, DIY products lately, and we have more than 22,000 shops all over the country, and we rapidly expand. So what we do here in Innovation Center of Magnit, we are actively scouting for startups and new technologies for all our verticals, for operation, logistics, production of, we have our own production of fruits and vegetables. We have very expanded build tech department, so we build our stores and we maintain them. And we are looking forward to meet Israeli startups, and maybe we can collaborate in the near future. And I'm very thankful to Axis for this opportunity. Guys, thank you very much. And I wish all the participants, all the pitchers today, good luck. And I hope we will meet again after the panel. Thank you.
Thank you. The next, our next panelist is Julian Nicholas, Innovation Manager at Leroy Merlin.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for inviting me all these years. I think I'm part of the old school ones, but it's been like for the last 5-6 years already. time flies. So yes, I'm the manager of innovation at Leroy Merlin. Leroy Merlin is like a do-it-yourself company. We are in Russia. We are the leader on the market, and this year we've been. So we are also an international company. We are present in 13 countries, so from Greece right now, and on the global level, this year we've been the third player on the do-it-yourself market after Home Depot and Lowe's. So we are growing quite fast. In terms of what we are looking in innovation, like every retailers would say, everything that is interesting for a retailer, for us it's also interesting. And yeah, really exciting to listen to the startups. Usually they're quite interesting. So thank you.
Thank you, Julian. Our next panelist is Lev Samsonov, Innovation Manager at HAF.
Hello, everybody. I'm representing HOF. HOF is, I would say, retail furniture chain, one of the leading retail furniture chain in Russia. Also, we sell household products. We have more than 50 hypermarkets. Also, we have sufficiently important part in e-commerce business. As for innovation and innovation technologies, which we are looking for, right now we have a focus on optimization software, on optimization goals. All components of the business, e-commerce operations, retail, physical stores, technology in stores, logistic, all this stuff is really important for us. So I invite to startup to provide us some proposition if you have the value for us. And also we may look at new income streams, maybe new services, which can be interesting for our ecosystem. So I advise and I wish good luck for everybody and for startups especially. Thank you.
Thank you, Lev. Our next panelist, Natalia Martimianova, she's Innovation Manager at the X5 Group. If Natalia can say a few words about yourself, please, and about the company.
Hi, hello, everyone. Yeah, I represent X5 Group, innovations team of X5 Group. X5 Group is one of the leading Russian retailers, providing both online and offline food retail services. In offline, we have almost 18K stores, as well as distribution centers and vast transport infrastructure. In online, we provide digital services such as online hypermarket Frog, express delivery services, and e-commerce delivery 5Post. So as innovations team, we scout for innovative technologies all around the world in order to implement those technologies in our business processes. Our main priority is economic effect out of those implemented innovations. We scout for retail tech, obviously, supply chain, logistics, transport, back office, HR tech. So as innovations, we have a fast track for startups. It's simplified procedures in order to run the pilot. It's allocated budget for innovations and a dedicated team of innovations project managers to run those pilots. So we're happy to work with Israeli startups, thanks to Access Innovations, thanks to Israeli embassy in Moscow. And I'm also very glad to see our RITA partners and friends over here, Sergey and Lev. We all together scout for innovations and as well as discuss how the pilots are going. Well, thank you very much for having me here.
Thank you, Natalia. And our last but not least panelist is Sergey Semenchenko. He's a senior innovation manager at MVideo Eldorado.
Yeah, thank you, Leo. My name is Sergey. You're right. I'm a senior innovation manager of MVideo Eldorado. We are the largest consumer electronic retailer in Russia. Our group manages two retail brands, MVideo and Eldorado. The group operates Russia's largest online platform for consumer electronics and household appliances, commanding a market share of over 30%. The group also manages more than 1,000 stores in more than 200 cities across Russia. We have the same goal target as my colleagues from X5, from Land, from Leroy Merlin, from Hof, because partnering with startups and technology companies opens up opportunities for us to create new services and products that will help users meet more and more everyday needs, as well as help our brands with our operational challenges. Thank you for your invitations.
Thank you very much. Yeah, and now we can go to the startups. So the first, our first company is Perizon, and Eduardo, who's a global sales and business development manager, will will present the company to the panel.
Thank you, Leo, and thank you everyone for having us. Let me share my screen. Okay. So we are Perizon AI, and we are a leading data solution for physical retailers that enable physical retailers to use in-store purchase transactional data in order to communicate, engage, and target their customers. What we've seen in the past few years, this huge process of digital transformation and lots of business moving to e-commerce, and this has been accelerated by the pandemic. But overall, across the board, we've seen that most of the retail sale still take place in physical stores. And when we are looking at very sensitive markets like fashion, consumer electronics, cosmetics, and beauty, this is even more relevant. And yet, the online part, the e-commerce part, the marketing remains disconnected from transactional data. It means that if I bought something in a store, in the physical store, this data will reach the e-commerce side, the marketing side in about 30, 60, even 90 days. And the recommendations are not relevant, the advertisements are irrelevant, and the retailers, they struggle to motivate customers to come to the stores, and yet they don't have tools to measure the return on the investment in store. And that's exactly how Perizon is positioning ourselves. We believe that if physical retailers, they're going to make use of their own first-party transactional data in order to better communicate, engage, and target their customers, they could increase their revenues on at least 20%. And these are not numbers that I'm throwing out of the sky. These are metrics of our 25 customers that we have since the company was founded in February 2020. So what the problem that we're trying to address and what is the use case that we're trying to help retailers with? First of all, to increase the traffic on the physical stores. After a year of pandemic where people have been closed in-house and using e-commerce, it's very important that we are able to bring people in store, to engage, to boost loyalty and engagement, to create audience for campaigns that are based not on third-party data, not on social networks, but on their own retailers' first-party data, in-store transactional data. Improve communication with customers. I don't want to get wrong advertisement at the wrong time with the wrong messages that are not relevant to me or recommendations. To measure marketing effectiveness in store, and most important of all, to increase customer lifetime value and be able to measure it not only on e-commerce. what we are trying to achieve is to bring to the physical store the e-commerce like experience where we can target, where we can manage, where we can understand, where we can measure ROI and so forth and so on. And we are basically dividing our solution, and this is based on experience of the needs of the retailers in 3 areas: how to attract customers, how to bring customers to the store, how to engage customers in the right way, in the way that they are understood, and how to create marketing technologies and strategy that are going to be effective and cost effective, okay? And we are a SaaS solution that are going to be used by marketeers and digital team within retailers in order to understand, to create audience, to manage campaigns, and most important, as you can see here, in-store ROI, where we can see how many people went to the store, how many people bought a product that was advertised, and what's the value that they spent in-store in real time, not only e-commerce, but also in-store. And once we implemented Pearson, we've seen rapidly the growth in revenues, the growth in click-through rate, the lift in revenue per campaigns, the number of people in store, people adoption of loyalty programs. There are so many use cases that can be achieved when you use your own first-party data, that this is the time that retailers, they are in a break point, that they need to change, they need to adapt in order to increase their revenues. And just about, I'll show you quickly two case studies. The first one is a fashion retailer that they were looking for a solution to address the lack of customer engagement and the very low in-store spending based on such huge amount of digital campaigns that they were spending. So once we implemented our customer experience platform and our data intelligence platform, we are able to see in no time 10 times more people coming to the store, and the revenues increase tenfold. And when we look at another retailer, which they have a completely different use case, they have a very low loyalty adoption, and they wanted to motivate customers not just to come to the store and to buy, but also to register to the fidelity program. And once we implemented Pearson, we've seen this number grow 40% a week, even 200% a week of people moving from an anonymous customer, which is a big challenge for retailers, to become fidelity. Okay. Just to finalize, we were founded last year. 1 year, lots of customers in Israel. We are starting our go-to-market internationally now, with obviously focus on Europe and US. 25% growth month by month. Lots of customers that some of them you may know. The biggest one of is Decathlon, which is our design partner, not in Israel, but across 66 markets. We are working with consumer electronics, apparel and fashion, supermarkets, groceries, department store. Even we were approached now by football teams, movie theaters and hotels, basically because this type of business, they have the same challenges as physical retailers. They must be able to cut the dependency on OTAs, on social networks, and make use of their own physical data in order to understand their customers. The team is composed, Galit, she's got 25-year experience in retail. She's coming from Supersal, the biggest supermarket in Israel. Oded is coming from a long time experience in data. He actually is responsible for the technology, coming from NSO, from Chimera, from the cyber division of Mercedes. Natalie is our advisor with long time experience in e-commerce. And I'm running the business development activity across Israel and globally. Thank you, and I welcome your questions.
Thanks, Eduardo. Any questions from the panel for Eduardo?
Yes, I do have a question. Eduardo, thank you very much for the presentation. My question is, you showed us several cases, those obviously, I assume, your best metrics achieved in best cases, but what are the average results you are able to provide for the customer?
Well, yeah, you know, what we've seen that because retailers, they're not making use of their in-store data and they're relying on third-party data, which is not very accurate and not very relevant. We've seen that the numbers that we're showing here, these are numbers that we've seen in the first 3 months straight away. So we've seen 40% increase in revenue straight away. This is the first point. Lift in spending per customers, we've seen. Now, when we look at other use cases, it really depends of the retailers. Not every retailer, they need to increase their loyalty adoption. And again, other retailers, they hire us to increase their NPS because they want customers to be happier. So it really depends. But the numbers that I show you there, these are average numbers, 40% increase per revenue, 5% increase in revenue per customer. These are average numbers per customers. Okay.
I have a question. Hello, Eduardo. As I see, you have sufficiently big clients, and we know that practically every company now has a big department who deals with AI, big data, and all this stuff. So could you please describe maybe a little bit closely about your AI and your maybe some kind of secret sauce and AI? How do you achieve these type of goals? Okay. And how it happens? Yes.
Okay. So first of all, once we integrate with a retailer, with a physical retailer, we're integrated with all their platforms. We are integrated with the CRM, we are integrated with the e-commerce, we are integrated with the loyalty program, and we are also integrated with the point of sale. And we are getting all this data. This is historic data and this is transactional data. And we are creating a unified customer profile where we can create some data enrichment based on age, on gender, and we can understand the basket and the behavior of the customer in store. Based on that, and there when it comes really the machine learning engine, we are starting to do aggregation of data and to understand patterns of behavior across all the data that you have. So if I am Eduardo, I live in Tel Aviv, I go to the supermarket, my basket, it's overall same products. Let's look across all the database, across all the historic data, transactional data, people that they have similar purchase behavior in store based on location, on gender, on age, and let's try to creating similar patterns in order to create audience that are going to be similar in targeting. So this is the work that basically the machine learning is doing. And the more data that we have, the more accurate it becomes because people are also changing the way they behave. Today I live here, tomorrow I live there. Today I'm single, tomorrow I'm married. I'm unemployed, tomorrow I have a job. So the patterns of behavior, they're changing across the time. And it's important that we understand it and we are able to match the audience based on what is happening in the basket and what's happening in a specific location. This is in a very, very, very high level, right? The way that we are working.
Okay, thank you. I have more questions, but I will provide
there's always an opportunity to click the button,
yeah.
Get more information, and I encourage everybody to do that so you can ask your detailed questions and get your detailed answers from companies. Here's just we're getting the flavor of the startups, and I'm sure there's more to talk about that. Our next company and next presenter is. Thanks, Eduardo. Our next presenter is Ella. She's a VP of Sales at Gemity.
Hi there. Hi, everyone. So before I start, can I just quick question? I sent a message in the chat. Did everybody get that?
I see it.
Awesome. So during my presentation, I'm also going to just let you play with the product. So that's the link to join, but we'll get to that in a minute. So let me share my screen. All right. Do we have it? We're seeing my screen?
Yep, we see it.
Terrific. Terrific. Let's hit it. So hi, I'm Ella. I head the sales here at Gamity. At Gamity, we developed a social shopping platform for e-commerce websites. So I'm only talking about the e-commerce here, which allows real social interactions on the website. So in the last few years, every time we hear about social shopping, we actually think about social media advertisements that will bring traffic to our website. That's not what I'm talking about. Here at Gamity, when I say social shopping, I mean actual real interactions. People can actively invite their friends to your platform and have a social experience similar to going to the mall with a friend. In just a minute, I'll show you what that looks like. But let me back up a second, talk about why this is a good idea. So try to think of the last time you purchased something online that was maybe a little more complicated than milk and eggs. If you're thinking about consumer electronics, DIY, fashion, furniture, many of the things that were mentioned here, these are complicated purchases. And usually the way we do it is that we send links to each other or screenshots for everyone involved in the purchase. And this becomes exponentially more annoying the more people you want to talk to and the more products you're comparing. So this is exactly what we wanted to solve. The reason this all happens is because shopping is really a social process. Part of the fun is taking your friends shopping with you. And even more than just the fun, we need help deciding. There are so many options and so many different brands. And the fact that a friend can join you and help make a decision, someone that you trust, goes a long way. And when we shop online, we're really stuck in a completely solitary experience. We don't have a way to invite our friends to the shop itself. All we have to do is go to a different platform and leave the store, which means we have officially abandoned our cart and either we're coming back or we're not coming back. So I want to hop over to an actual demonstration of what the tool looks like to make this maybe a little less theoretical. So just let me know, the second screen that I'm sharing now, are you seeing the Outlet King website?
Yeah, it's a website for a store or something like that.
Terrific. This is actually one of our customers. They're based out of Switzerland, so it's a good chance to practice your German for anyone who's interested. And the link that I've sent you in the chat actually invites you to join me. The way it works is that I've created a wish list with things that I am potentially interested in buying, and I want your advice. I've used the share button, and I've invited you guys here through the Zoom chat. So I've used the clipboard. Usually to invite my friends, I would use WhatsApp because that's our favorite. And now that you're all invited, you can all join me. So I see that someone has already left a comment, an emoji here, what they think about a specific product. I can leave my thoughts about specific products. So can everybody else on the chat. So I see that someone disliked this product. We can also have a chat here when we actually talk to each other. So I can send you the messages about what I think and what I'm considering buying. And I can add as many products as I want. And you guys are still on that link and have the opportunity to share with me. And you can also add products. So if anyone clicks on this Gamity widget on the website itself, you get to add extra products to my cart. So I see that people are adding products, people are talking to each other. And it really gives you the opportunity to take this little part of your website and make it social, make it a real social shopping interaction, allow people to talk to each other. And this is a huge help when they're making decisions in many different types of purchases. You guys can keep playing with it. I'm hopping back to my presentation because I do have a 5-minute limit. The effect of the Gamity tool on e-commerce websites is dramatic. And the numbers that I'm showing here are case studies that were done in A/B tests. So we randomly exposed 50% of the customers to Gamity, and these are just the plain differences between the groups. You can see that there is increase in conversion rate, average order value, overall company increase. And Elisabetta, I'm anticipating your question. These numbers, we're seeing them repeatedly. And we do A/B tests with many new customers. Almost every new customer that we onboard, we do an A/B test with them to prove that this is a match for their customers. So to quickly sum up why this is a good idea and why would Gamity be interesting for you to check out. It gives your customers a seamless, convenient, and modern user experience, differentiates your company as a company that cares about actually giving their users a good process when they're shopping. It increases your conversion rate, your average basket size, and it helps you understand what's going on with your users. Instead of them leaving your website, they can have their conversations and thoughts here. Yeah, all of those results you see for customers that are allowing their users to be buying better together. And I'm happy to answer any other questions in the Q&A or in private later. Thank you for listening.
Thanks, Ella. I'll turn over to our panel to ask any questions you may have.
Yes, I have a question. First of all, thank you for presentation. And what verticals do you use for this tool? I mean, what kind of industries are using this?
So right now, our original actually industry was travel when we started 3 years ago. Since we've moved into fashion, outdoors, consumer electronics, furniture, baby products. Essentially, when I talk to a new customer, I try to understand together with you, what is a typical user journey? Is your typical user journey a user comes in and purchases? All right, you don't need my help. But if the user journey is they're coming, they're leaving, they're debating, it takes them 2 weeks. Okay, then they're talking to each other. Then this is a complicated purchase. If it's a complicated purchase, it's a good idea to let them talk to each other on your website where you can see it and learn from it, and where it increases your conversion rate and exposes you to more traffic instead of just taking your content and traffic away to a different platform.
And one more question, and numbers of engagement, does it depend on industry? For instance, do you have some numbers for furniture?
It does depend on industry. What we're seeing in general is that in travel, we're seeing around 5-6% natural click-through rate without us doing any advertisements. In retailers, it's closer to 10-11. And then if we do any marketing, any advertisement, then it increases accordingly.
Thank you.
Any other questions from the panel?
Hi, Ella. I have one question. You just said about difficult purchase. For example, expensive fridge or expensive sofa. I want to buy expensive sofa, for example. I'd like to discuss it with my wife. What is the advantage of your service over the WhatsApp and Telegram? I have only one participant in my purchase, my wife. So I could copy the link of sofa or fridge and send it over WhatsApp or Telegram to my wife directly. So I don't need your service. Could you explain what is the advantage?
Yeah, terrific question. Thank you. So I think there are a few answers here, but I'm going to make it short. You have to look at this from two different angles. One of them is the end consumer, and one of them is our customer, the e-commerce website. For the end consumer, if you are sharing one product with one person, it's not a huge difference. If you're sharing two products with one person, it's already a huge difference. If you're sharing two products with two people, you're done. It's too annoying to do it over links. When I say too annoying, I mean just count the clicks. Count how many times you have to leave the website. And this is taking into consideration that you're only comparing one website, which is probably not the case. You're probably comparing more of them. So as an end consumer, all it does is decrease your hassle. Try to think of the last time you purchased something that was a little complicated for you to purchase. And it's important to understand, this is not a product that 150% of your customers will use. Yeah, this is a product that is meant for those customers who are having a complicated user journey. And you see a lot of those customers on your website, so you know that they're there. On your side, as a provider, this is a huge difference. You get to actually see what these customers are talking about. You get to see their reactions to your product. You get an increase in traffic, and this is quality traffic, because these are people that get invited by their friends and not randomly click some Facebook ad. The acquisition of customers is a lot more quality here. And I think really the main idea is to think about the use cases like a wedding dress, a computer where I want to ask a few people, fashion where I'm interested in what a few people think, furniture where I want to ask both my designer and my partner. Whenever you think about those kind of purchases, it's already a lot more complicated, and it gives you no advantage over your customers, over your competitors. If you're saying, well, let them just use WhatsApp, they leave your website and they don't necessarily come back.
Thank you.
Yeah, I definitely see, you know, a lot of, like, for myself, a lot of advantages, but I do what my wife tells me to do, so it's an easy choice for me. Anyway,
I hear that a lot.
Thanks, Ella, and appreciate the time. And our next company is Placense, and then the CFO and the co-founder will present the company. Dan,
CEO, the CFO is a smarter guy.
CEO, right?
Just a word about Gamity. I can't wait to stop getting links of empty carts from my family members that tried to get me into a cart and nothing comes up, and this seems to be fantastic. So hope to see it everywhere soon. Let me share my link with you. Can you guys see my presentation? Perfect. So I'm Dan Gildoni, co-founder and CEO of Placense. It's great being here. A few words about my background. I also come from a background in the online world. I'm a serial entrepreneur. In the past years working in the online world, and as we see here, what made the online great is data, is the ability to look at endless points of data, understand what our customers need, and adapt accordingly. At Placense, for the first time ever, we're bringing these methodologies to the physical world. Now, when I say physical world, think about any store, any location, any mall, any city, any billboard out there. The way that up to now you've been making decisions to understand not just your own stores, but your competitors was by gut feelings, in some cases surveys, and in many cases, this guy would stand on a street corner and actually count the people and ask them questions. To me, it seems impossible that in 2021, you're making decisions of billions of euros still based on his decisions. And that's exactly what we're changing. So with Placense, we developed capability to actually bring data from smartphones. That's the sensor that we use. And we connect with the smartphones of the population. Just to give you an idea of numbers, in Germany, where we started, we're already connected with 35 million devices. In Germany, for example, we're looking at anywhere between 15 to 18% of the population every day, all day long. We make these connections by partnerships that we do with apps. So think about apps that you have installed on your phones, a weather app, a parking app, just a regular app that has a good usage of GPS. We pay these apps to get access to the phone, and we're able to do so because we solved the privacy issue. And that's, by the way, the reason we started in Germany is because we wanted to start where it's the most difficult. So we've learned how to use this information in a way that does not jeopardize privacy in any way whatsoever, but still allows you to take any property out there, whether if it's your stores, your potential stores, your competing stores, and get a very in-depth insights about the behavior of people coming to these locations. In this case, we're looking at a mall located outside of Berlin. We're asked to look at this mall and to compare it with another mall, a mall which is about 15 kilometers away. This is an investment case, this is a repurposing case, and this is a case where an investor wanted to also take a look at the competitor. So let's see what we can do with this. So we start by presenting for the first time ever a real customer journey. Think about the supermarkets, where the sequence is important. Have they come to my location first, second, or third? We understand where they live, where they work, where they visited before, and where they're going after. And of course, we can make these comparisons with an infinite amount of locations. I can share that one of the largest consultancies are looking at 14,000 car dealerships of all brands in Germany every single day and comparing between them to sell it, of course, to one of them. We understand loyalty. How often do they come back? Differentiating between new and returning customers. And because we understand their locations so well, we cross-reference with additional data sources that will allow us to understand their age, gender, languages spoken, and even understand things like their shopping preferences, shopping power, social economics. Another algorithm that we've developed allows us to actually take advantage of laser counters you may have in your stores with absolute numbers. And with one laser counter, we can extrapolate that data as if you would have 100 in a radius of about 50 kilometers to also show absolute numbers of the entire surrounding area. In Germany, we're currently working with some of the largest retailers in a variety of different verticals, real estate companies, consultancies, municipalities. And we were nominated and got the mandate to actually be the index for all of the out-of-home, the outdoor advertising in Germany. Now, the reason I'm showing this is for two reasons. One, I'm sure that you all deal with outdoor advertising. And two, is because this for us was a very important vote of confidence, both for the granularity and for the accuracy we can get to. If we can just evaluate the billboard, imagine what we can do with the largest store. So with PlaceSense, we will help with the campaign measurements. We will find data that's relevant for your surrounding area. A catchment area will no longer be just a polygon and a hypothesis of who may come to our store or to our competition, but actually understand where they come from. Cross-referencing that with their purchasing power or the relevant routes is part of what we do. I'll be, of course, very happy to show you more over a demo. Thank you very much. Happy to answer questions.
Thanks, Dan. We have time for one question for Dan. So.
I have a question, Dan. Thank you very much. The solution looks very promising, but you said that you rely on data from your partners like parking apps, etc., etc. So have you done any forecast how much time it will take for you to penetrate the Russian market and get those connections in the Russian market to operate here successfully? Or
definitely. Definitely, yes.
I'll
I'll start from answering the question. We can be ready in Russia within 8 weeks. We've expanded in the past 6 months and covered entire DACH region, entire Benelux, going into the UK and Italy. We're well aware of the mobile capabilities in Russia, which actually in some cases are easier than in other parts in Europe. And if you're ready, we can be ready within 8 weeks.
Thank you, Dan.
Thank you.
Yeah, great product.
Thank you.
Our next company is Optiways, and I invite Elad, the CEO and co-founder of the company, just to make sure people were hearing me wrong. I think anyway, Elad, please take it away and go ahead with your presentation.
Thank you, Leo. Hello, everybody. Good morning. Thank you for the opportunity. Let me share my screen. Okay, I guess you can by now can see my screen. So what we do in Optiways is optimizing complicated supply chain distribution processes. My name is Elad. I'm the co-founder and CEO in Optiways. I'll try to summarize this complicated topic in 5 minutes, which is challenging by itself, but I'll do my best. While most of the route optimization solutions available out there focus on last mile deliveries, and even in Israel, there are like 8, 9 companies, few of them are amazing companies. They focus on last mile deliveries. I refer it as the pizzeria challenge, the pizzeria problem. But when it comes to supply chain distribution, this is different process. So what we do in Optiways is helping retailers, manufacturers, logistics service providers to optimize their complex supply chain distribution processes by reducing costs and increase of sales by reducing stockouts. So first, let me try to emphasize the difference between last mile deliveries and supply chain distribution. As I mentioned, most of the solution, most of the competitors, not the direct competitors, located on the right side, on the orange side. When we are talking about last mile deliveries, whether it's a supermarket chain, a pharmacy store, or pizzeria or a restaurant, this is mostly the use case of B2C delivering to end user. We focus on the left side, on the supply chain distribution, when we take cargo from the warehouses, distribution centers, bringing mostly to the stores or to local in-city distribution centers. This is a much different, much more complicated challenge, different mathematical challenge, mostly focused on large trucks, and this is what we do. So basically, the main challenge is creating efficient route planning, taking cargo from the left side to the right side. But when it comes to real life operations, when we're talking about complex supply chain distributions, we're talking about multiple depots, diverse customers, diverse fleets. You sometimes use subcontractors, so you have another few, 5, 6 types of fleets, many business rules, operational rules, SLAs, routing rules, and eventually there is also a complicated cost model that relates to the internal fleet and external fleets that you use, and eventually we need to optimize. What we do is actually optimizing the cost. So we take everything into consideration. So in order to solve this complicated mathematical challenge, we had to take a different approach, a breakthrough algorithmic approach. We're doing things much differently, and I don't have in this 5 minutes time to even start talking about it. But eventually, and in this business, in logistics, it's all about the bottom line, whether it works or not. And we have amazing cost reduction results. So just in high level, again, because we don't have the time, we changed the whole concept of how implement this complicated algorithms. We use multiple algorithms in parallel. We choose the best one. We use multiple distribution strategies and workflow. We run them in parallel. We choose the best one. We're doing lots of AI prediction on multiple parameters related to the optimization, such as drop time prediction, traffic prediction, and so this is just in a nutshell some of the innovation that we put here. Again, not because we so bored and we want to develop, because we had to invent things in order to solve this complicated mathematical challenge. So we are quite early stage company, though at the moment we gained a very impressive traction currently in Israel only, and we're looking to expand globally. We work with most of the largest retailers in Israel. And again, as I mentioned, I don't see any direct competition at the moment when we talk about supply chain distribution. There is lots of competitors out there, but when it comes to actually supply chain distribution, the competition actually is with the internal organization, actually making things happen. The execution, this is the main challenge. So very quickly, this is the last slide that I have. The process, and this is the most important part here, because driving the change, change things, things that organization did manually, moving it into automation and optimization, this is the main challenge. So what we do first, we do logistics analysis, when we just analyze the process, get historical data, and we send to the organization benchmark that compare between what you paid until now and what we can do for you. So this is a minimum risk for the organization. Yeah, they do need to invest some time to sit with us, understand. We send questionnaire, we interview the organization, but eventually the result of this process is benchmark that shows you practically, this is how much you pay, this is what we can do for you, and let's continue from this point. So it's all evidence-based, incremental process, and this is the focus of what we do. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We have time for one question again from our panel. And of course, you can connect later, right? But...
Definitely. So looking forward to meet you later on, and invest additional more time to clarify more about the process and everything related, because it's definitely a complicated topic.
All right, so if there are no questions from the panel, I think we're right on time. And I'll turn over back to Jason. Thank you very much. Thank you the panelists, and thank you the presenters and the startups.
Great. Thank you very much, Leo. Thank you, members of the panel. That was the startups who are presenting. I wanted to just mention for a moment, we have one of our very important partners, the Israel-Russia Business Council, and Kathy Dan, who's worked with us for so many years. Unfortunately, her voice has gone, but I'm just going to put a plug that they worked really hard over these past many years to develop business cooperation between them. And you can reach out to Kathy on the chat, and I'm sure she'll be happy to give you some more information about the events that they have in Moscow and the work that they do. It's now my pleasure to introduce to you Victoria Susakova, who is a director for Eastern Europe and Central Asia at the IE University. And we've worked with the IE for many years. They've been very helpful to many of the entrepreneurs as well as the corporations, and have set up programs. And Vika, thank you for joining us, and I want to give you the chance to explain to our participants the work that IE does.
Hello. Thank you very much for the warm welcome. It's a pleasure to be here again, online. Unfortunately, I hope that soon we will be able to see each other offline as well. So as Ed mentioned, I'm here to represent IE University and IE Business School, or Instituto de Empresa, as some of you might know us. I just want to say a few words about our institution, because I'm assuming that some of you do not know us that well. We are actually one of the best European business schools. We are located in the beautiful city of Madrid. You can see part of our campus buildings behind me. Unfortunately, I'm not there. I'm based in Moscow, in Russia. The fact is that IE is a very, very international school. We have 30 representation offices all over the world. We have an office, as I said, based here in Moscow. And together with my team, I'm responsible for different activities here in Eastern Europe and Central Asia. We're responsible, of course, for recruiting new students. We work a lot with different partners, corporations, local universities, schools, etc. And since entrepreneurship is a very important topic for us and part of our DNA, as we like to put it, we are very happy to support events like this one. In fact, we were founded by entrepreneurs back in 1973. One of our co-founders is still very much involved in everything we do. Entrepreneurship and innovation courses are incorporated in all our programs, and we have a lot of them. So we have bachelor programs, we have master programs, we have lots of different MBAs, short courses related to executive education. This year we have launched several online courses. We call them high impact online programs. They are essentially similar to Coursera, but much more interactive. And of course, our professors are very much involved. So in case you guys are interested in business education, in different programs, I'm always very happy to have a call or a meeting in case you are here in Moscow. I'm an alumna as well, so I'm a proud ambassador. So feel free to reach out to me. I'm sure the organizers can provide my contact details. I will be very happy to have a chat and to tell you more about different opportunities you have with IE, as well as different activities and initiatives we are organizing here in Russia and in the region as well. Thank you very much, and enjoy the rest of the day.
Thank you very much, Vika. And I just wanted to mention to the panelists from the first session, our next session, we will have an additional 4 startups, and then following that, we'll be having the one-on-one meetings. So I want to introduce you now to another one of our partners, Anna Koviakova, who's a managing general partner at FinCom, who works with Israeli and Russian companies on financial services. Anna, thanks for joining us today.
Oh, thank you. I'm so happy to be here because it is a really cool event. Of course, better be offline, but let's speak online as we can. So I just introduced our company, FinCom Group. We provide several services in field of accounting. So we have 3 branches in Russia, in Israel. Tatiana Levin was here with you yesterday. So, and one more in US. That's why we can provide several accounting services for the startups and why we should be based on this one, because we do understand the process not just from one country to another country. We do understand that there are no borders in financial service, so we can speak in Russian, we can speak in English in US, we can speak, of course, we have an Israel partner. That's why it is really cool to be with that. Besides, we have partners at the lower, and that's why we can provide services not only in accounting fields, but in the low services as well. And that's why it is easy to provide, to explain what we need, because it is like a box service. So not only accounting, but the low service again. So besides, I will be really very happy to send you our any presentation or about our services. That's why if you have any questions, please give me. That's it.
Well, thank you very much, and I really appreciate that. And I wanted to introduce now Alexander Uvarov, who is the head of scouting and partnership at MTS Startup Hub. MTS is actually the leading startup accelerator in Russia, with a corporate accelerator, a venture fund, as well as a startup studio. And it's our pleasure to have you join us today and to give the information both to our startups and to our corporate client partners. Thanks so much, Alexander, and the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you, Ed. Hi, everyone. Nice to meet you here online in Zoom. So I've been participating in that event since 2018. Hope to see you 1 year later again. So by the way, my purpose of that very short presentation is just to raise your awareness of who we are and why can we be a good partner for you. Doesn't matter if you are a startup, ecosystem player, or even another corporation. So my name is Alexander Uvarov. I'm the head of partnership, scouting, and analytics services in MTS Startup Hub. And just 3 slides, very short. If you will need more information, just let's meet in personal or just request the expanded presentation from me. So here we go. What is MTS actually? MTS is an ecosystem. Initially, it was a leading Russian telecom player. Just to give you a brief understanding how the big business is, you see the numbers on the slide. 500 billion rubles in revenue last year. It is completely transparent and public company, traded on New York Stock Exchange, Moscow Stock Exchange, and also our main shareholder, IFK Sistema, is trading at London Stock Exchange. So we are fully transparent. It would be sometimes very, important for some partners. For example, this is the reason why we work with Spotify exclusively in Russia. In Russia. So, and here we see why we are not telecom anymore. We're already kind of ecosystem, because telecom is only one of the verticals which we are working in. Here we have 70 million clients, still growing approximately 5% per year, but we have a lot more. Here we see main verticals, which are non-telco verticals: digital lifestyle, starting from basic services like MTS Music, MTS Live, which is dedicated for offline events, ticket buying, library, smart home, and many, many more. The next vertical is fintech, which is, let's say, glue, which is, let's say, consolidating together all the ecosystem in terms of financial transactions. And here we have MTS Bank and MTS Investments. And for example, MTS Bank is #1 in Russia right now in terms of point of sales lending, and it is still growing in 2 numbers pace, which is quite good for pretty big and established company. We are putting a lot of effort into that development. Another vertical is media businesses, which are based on OTT, and you know the prominent numbers is that the number of users in OTT servers last year was grown 3 times, which is quite huge numbers. So our main flagship service here is KION, which is OTT online cinema. Also, we produce our own content, MTS Originals, which is quite good appreciated in Russia. And of course, we have some legacy business like, you know, IPTV, cable, and satellite TV. So one more vertical is marketing tech, which is quite natural business for telecom, because we have huge amount of big data, which is quite unique. And thanks to our efforts in field of big data and artificial intelligence, we managed to extract insightful data and knowledge from that. And now we share this knowledge. We sell this to our B2B clients. And here we provide different formats of advertisement like SMS, MMS, social media advertisement, programmatic advertisement, so on. But we're open-minded for even more. And the brand new last news, let's say, business direction is MTS Web Services. I know the naming is a little bit strange. So this is still in transaction. But what we're doing basically is just spinning off our infrastructure of telecom and our cloud business into the separate market player, which will have all the chances to become #1 in the market. And we provide a lot of more services, even with edge technologies. So, and another one question, who we are in that ecosystem. So MTS Startup Hub is the one window, one entry point for all the innovations from outside to inside of the company. And we have the number of tool set, which is dedicated to serve this well. So first of all, of course, we have Corporate Accelerator. All you know what is it. We have some specific functions like 5G Incubator, dedicated to find the answer, how to commercialize quite expensive 5G technology and networking. We have our own project office, which will help to, let's say, implement all the initiatives, all the startups inside. Of course, we have Corporate VC, which is a strategic player, strategic investor on those stages, Seed Plus, Round A, and Round B, with the potential to follow on investments. I'm personally the head of Scouting Analytics and Partnerships, and this is the team who is bringing new and more new startups into the pipeline. And our brand new direction, which we launched just this year, is a venture studio for spinning off new businesses outside of the company. In terms of results and why can we be a good partner, so just a brief numbers, we are considered like a #1 player in corporate startup ecosystem field in Russia. This is a ranking provided by RBC, Russian leading business media. So another numbers you hear on the slide, a lot of startups in the pipeline, more than 70 pilots, which is already conducted, 30 products implemented at different stages. And the very rough numbers, it is hard to calculate really the impact of innovations in the short term, but roughly where we can calculate, we calculate, and the numbers that we just saved to the company 5 years of the product development, and in direct financial results, we provided more than 10 million United States dollars during last 3 years. So here we go. If you need more information from me, just directly email me or just go to our website and leave your application there. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Alex. We appreciate the presentation and your support for the event. Now it is time to start our second session. We have 4 more fantastic startups across fintech, mobility, and much more exciting areas. First, I would like to introduce our panelists to introduce themselves, say who you are, your company, how you work with startups. So we have Alex from MTS, who just presented. So we will have you on this session. Everyone now has a very good idea how MTS works in your activities. So stay here with us, Alex. The next I would like to call up is Andrei Nikonov, the Startup Engagement Manager at Kaspersky iHub. If you could please introduce yourself. Andrei, are you with us? We'll come back. I see Andrei is there, but doesn't hear yet. Another Andrei Kosmak from Softline Venture Partners, Investment Director.
Hi there. Thank you, Jason. Thank you so much for having me today. It's a really good pleasure to be here, to be present at this event. So a few words about ourselves, a few words about our fund. So my name is Kosmak Andrei. I'm an investment director within Softline Venture Partners. Softline Venture Partners is a corporate venture fund, basically a corporate venture arm of Softline Group. As you already know, or you may already undoubtedly aware, Softline Group is a global digital solutions and services provider that actually serves its customers in more than 50 countries all over the world. So basically, we have more than 6,000 employees and managed to reach a global turnover of $1.8 billion already. So we managed to establish long-term relationships with more than 6,000 vendors all over the world, including such prominent ones as Microsoft, Oracle, Cisco, Hewlett-Packard, and many, many, many others. So actually, being a corporate venture fund, we normally try to focus on buying minority stakes in those IT vendors whose solutions can be easily implemented and integrated into our B2B ecosystem, so to speak. Normally, we try to close up to 5 or 6 deals per year. Our check lies somewhere between $200,000 and goes up to $1 million. So as you can see, we're a classic seed stage fund. So with the help of our fund, you can actually take advantage of our global B2B Softline ecosystem that it can act as a sales channel and a sales partner for your startup. And I'm sure there are a lot of startups out there that are willing to deploy their solutions abroad to and also achieve some new goals and enter new markets. Softline is here to help you. Well,
thank you very much, Andrei. I appreciate that introduction. So next, I'd like to call up Artem Abrikin, the lead technology scout at SpareX from Sberbank.
Yep. Hi, everyone. Nice to meet you today. So my name is Artem. I work as a leading technological scout in SberX. And as many of you know, Sber currently building a huge ecosystem of services. And our unit is particularly responsible for building accelerators and doing scouting programs and a lot of this stuff. So this year and like few previous years, we've launched firstly, the main accelerator in partnership with the 500 startups. This year we had more than 1,600 companies in our funnel. Also, we've got students and school accelerators. So this year there were around 30,000 students and like from schools and from universities that participated. And also we have our personal accelerator for Sberbank workers that is called SberUp. And this year, like very soon, within a month, we're launching our new platform called SberUnity, which will connect investors, startups, and corporations on one platform, and which will provide all the participants of the market with the information and the network that is needed for them. And you are all welcome to participate. You're all welcome to come over to this platform. And I'm really happy to be here. And again, thank you very much for inviting, and good luck to everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Artem. So now I'm going to call back Andrei from Kaspersky iHub. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Great. So please.
Hi, thank you so much. Sorry about the connections earlier. I was actually at the basement of my house. It's the coolest place in the house, but unfortunately I had back upstairs. So anyway, thank you so much for having me. I'm Andrei Nikonov from Kaspersky. I'm in charge of Open Innovation department. We call ourselves iHub. Our key activities actually in 2020 were the corporate startup programs. We also launched an accelerator in tourism. We had plenty of hackathons, both for students and for the regular developers. Right now, we actually have the fifth program for the startups called B2C Future Solutions, and we actually inviting all the startups in respective fields, startups who is involved in doing B2C projects in areas of fintech, smart home security, and gaming to apply to our program, which will actually run throughout the year, but we are planning to launch the pilots as soon as possible. Our team actually was scored one of the best in Russia in terms of innovations by one of the ratings just recently, and we scored #1 in IT sphere and #8 in corporations world. So we actually have big plans for 2021. We are going to continue our work with startups, and probably soon we are going to launch a new accelerator and maybe some hackathons as well. So yeah, that's it for our plans. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrei. So last but not least, I'd like to call up Pavel from Senior Innovation Manager at Megaphone.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for the invitation. I'm the head of innovation at Megaphone. Megaphone is the second largest telco company in Russia, and it is also a provider of digital services. We are one of the most active enterprises in Russia in working with startups, both with Russian and global companies. For 3 years, we have completed over 80 pilots. 16 cases now are being scaled, and over 40 pilots are now in progress or being prepared. We work with startups in all business areas, especially in solutions in the field of marketing, e-commerce, retail efficiency, big data, analytics, customer services, and also voice robotics and value-added services for telcos. Our department is profitable. This year, we started a new program, which is called Product Factory. It is the venture builder, where we test the product hypothesis and launch new products for Megaphone B2C customers along with startups. Megaphone is also belongs to a group of companies, USM, and in this group we also have venture fund and M&A department. So today, hope to meet with a number of promising startups. Thanks for having me here, and good luck to everyone.
Thank you very much. We have an incredible lineup. Thank you to all our panelists for being here. Now let's move on to the startup pitches. I'd like to introduce our first company, Achieved, and Nir, CEO, will be presenting. Take it away, Nir.
Thank you, Jason. Share the screen. Great. So I'll start with a personal note. So a little bit about myself. I'm a tech guy. Worked in Intel for 7 years. I've been involved in investment through all of my life, and I've opened 2 hedge funds, completely automated, algorithm-based, raised $33 million, handled a lot of investors, and then I managed a digital asset company as a CEO. And Achieved came from a very personal place of just doing investments in real estate myself. And through the process, I realized there were amazing entrepreneur managers, amazing investors, a lot of money going on into the funnel. And in the end, the entire communication transaction process was unbelievably broken. So the funds were delayed. I'm getting like this PDF through the email on my distribution and what is going on with their investment. and how the real estate process is going on. And I just scratched my head and said, all right, we're not in the 80s anymore. What is wrong in here? Fast forward, we've built the demo. We connected a few investment managers, a few investors, and then we launched Achieved. We raised a little bit more than $1 million from the Wix founders, a real estate fund, and a transaction company founders. And we launched the first ever fully seamless platform that allows any real estate manager, entrepreneur, fund to upload content and connect with their investors. And we want to incorporate the transaction, the financial transaction, into the system. So instead of moving on to more and more slides, I would like to share the actual product and show you how it works. And hopefully we can take it from there. So what we've created is, I'll share it in a very short video, and then I'll show the result. The ability to just enter the name of the property and just take all my files as a manager. So my Excel sheets, my PDFs, my reporting from the banks, my images, my videos, everything I can just drag and drop inside. And then the system will automatically take all this data and create a personal portal to each one of my investors, including the transaction, the distribution, the visual content of the investment. Everything is connected automatically. And this is how it looks like on the investor side. So as an investor, I can see my entire investments, my currencies, the distribution I'm getting from each one of the projects. I can see a deal by deal basis, exactly what is going on, what is the progress. So I have this like amazing dashboard that I'm getting all the information. But the really exciting thing is that everything is being done completely seamless. So this is the manager's point of view. In here, I can create an ongoing project and just go to the project and just drag and drop all the files as you saw in the demo, and everything will be pretty much automatically created for me. And then I can run my investments and the financials through the system. We support mobile, and the exciting visionary solution that I'm looking for is to connect the transaction into the entire platform and allow me as an investor and as a developer to transact the funds, to make sure that the currency I'm getting is whatever I'm getting during the currency transaction conversion, and making sure the transaction will go smoothly. We have all the documents and all the requirements on the system. Yeah, I'm sorry, someone is. Right. David, if you can.
If I can mute.
David, can you mute if you can?
I think he's unmuted, but he can't hear us.
All right. So I'll continue. Hopefully it will be.
Yeah, sure. Sorry about that.
So just to talk about a few important aspects. So in terms of the market, we're talking on $9.6 trillion market with 192 billion cross-border transactions. And we have two revenue streams that we are looking on. One is opportunistic, and the other one is more robust and sustainable. So we charge SaaS subscription on the platform, and we want to incorporate the transactions as a fee. So as for today, we have more than 300 live projects, 1,400 investors. Actually, it's going to be 4,000 with the pipeline that we currently have. And we are looking to tap into the additional revenue of creating the transaction through this platform and creating two revenue. One is more sustainable, the other one is more opportunistic. And we are looking to raise $4 to $6 million. We already have two in soft commitment. So thank you for the time, and I will be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Nir. Great. So I'll pass it on to our panelists for any questions for Chief.
Any presence in Russia or plans for Russian market?
So we don't have projects in Russia, as I'm sorry, I stay corrected. We do have projects in Russia. We don't have property managers currently in Russia. The system is completely global, as we're gonna launch in the next month. But we have projects mainly in Europe and in the US. So Russia is definitely could be one of those markets. We haven't tried even to tap into the Russian market in terms of managers.
Any other questions? All right, we can save for later. Anybody's interested can message me, message Nir, fill out the form, and we'll follow up. Thank you, Nir.
Thank you.
Okay, next company, David from SpinFrame. Now we're moving over to the mobility presentation. So David, take it away.
So good morning, everybody, and thank you for having us here with Axis. I'm going to share my screen. Hope you can hear me well at the moment. Okay. Just a moment. Sorry. Okay. Having some trouble here.
Can you make it full screen, or do you want to try and restart the screen share? Get it up.
Yeah. Just a moment, I'll try that. Okay. See my screen now?
Yeah, let's see if it's full screen.
Yeah, I'm trying to put it on presentation mode. It's kind of.
So I guess you can play it how it is. It still works.
No, that's going to be a problem. Can you pass on to the next one? I will restart my computer. That's okay with you? Sorry for that.
Sure. So we can move on. Let's see. 1 second. So let's see. Gabby, are you here? Can you hear me from Visible Zone?
Yes, I'm here.
Are you ready to present?
Sure, no problem.
Okay, great. So Gabby, you'll come on now, and then David will restart his computer and come back in a few minutes.
Let me share the presentation. Okay, can you see it?
Yes.
First of all, thank you for all hearing me. A few words about myself. I'm a physicist, more than 25 years in the high-tech industry. Before establishing Visible Zone, I was a CTO of Motorola Solution here in Israel and established Visible Zone in 2019. So, as a former Motorola expert in mobile phones, the vision of the company is turning the mobile phone to be a life-saving platform, meaning that the mobile phone, it's a device that everyone have it. It's much beyond a device that connecting people. There is a lot of technology there, transceivers, computing capability, sensors, of course, And we are utilizing all of this in order to provide life-saving solutions. Another way to see it, when we have our mobile phone with us, we somehow becoming to be a IoT entity, meaning that we can interact not only with people, we can interact with infrastructure, with vehicles, etc., etc. So our technology is based on two anchors. The most important one, the human behavior modeling. It's an AI engine that runs the mobile phone. With this module, we are trying to understand the situational awareness of the user, understand his behavior, and also we have a mathematical model that can predict human behavior a few seconds ahead. So when this module is understand that there is a life-saving situation, is turning off or igniting the second technology that we are using is the ability to transform the mobile phone to be like a transponder, meaning that to start sending RF signals. It's a direct mode signals. We are not using cellular link. Direct mode signals is an important thing here because it gives us a very low latency. It's the best way to keep privacy. And we are achieving a tremendous range in order to provide this solution. So this technology is, as I mentioned, AI-based, based on AI. We are collecting the data, processing, and this whole concept is very relevant for several segments. Smart mobility, meaning that we are providing pedestrian safety. On road, we can also provide data as a service in order to reduce uncertainty to autonomous cars. Also, this data that we are providing for from the cellular is very relevant for smart cities. For instance, to optimize traffic lights and electronic signs, etc. Cross compounds also is very relevant for us. For instance, there is a lot of safety issues in airports, in harbors and logistical centers, and of course, public safety during disaster. So what we are bringing that it's different what we have in the market. There is a lot of great technologies, but they are suffering from cost benefit, high cost. And the most problem is that all these technologies are requiring line of sight. So they cannot detect pedestrian, for instance, that is behind obstacle with no line of sight. And of course, there is a visibility issue when there is in nights and when the weather is poor weather. So what the market need is something like that. I want to show you a demo that we made for Jason Greenblatt in Jerusalem. So this is exactly what we are doing. Although that the pedestrian was behind car or truck or whatever, the system can detect him and can alert the driver. So the flow is going this way. The mathematical model predicts that the pedestrian is going to cross the road and immediately ignites the transponder mode, meaning that it starts to transmit those RF signals, and those signals can be detected at the car side and alert the driver, or it can be one of the input to the ECU. We already managed to implement it over mobile phone at the car side. You can see it here. The green light is a detection. We can see how far we can detect that someone is there. And only when relevant, it will notify and alert. The same we managed to do when we integrate it into the Android Auto. Also the same scenario. Detection and alerting. We alert only when it's relevant. If not, the system will ignore.
Gabby, if you can keep the pace because we have just less than 30 seconds. I want to make sure we get to the smart cities. Exactly.
Yes. So this is relevant for smart cities. We already have a big trial in Helsinki in order to collect data, and we are going to do it in Arizona and Las Vegas also. as I mentioned, this is very, very relevant for airports, a lot of safety issue, and we can solve 95% of the safety issue in airports, for instance. This is shortly the go-to-market approach. Go local, meaning that doing this trial in smart cities is cross compounds. Go global, we are working with the OEMs and mobile phone manufacturers. The OEMs that we are working now is Mitsubishi, and we want to integrate our solution into their device. This is our team, very strong team. The CTO is a PhD from the Technion, great data expert. And we are now raising $5 million. The follower is OurCrowd. They commit for 2 million, and we want to complete this investment. Open for questions.
Thank you very much. Well, smart cities is a big topic, and I know telcos, for example, been looking at this quite a bit. So, Alex, you have a question. I'll pass it to you.
Yeah. Thank you, Gabby. So, as far as I understand, you need some at least minimum market penetration, minimum amount of devices equipped with your software to make this technology really work in a large amount. So what is that market penetration rate which is minimum required?
So it depends. We are talking about smart cities. We are talking about the city itself. There is a city application that is available for the citizens, and we can put our solution as a SDK, and it will be available for all the city residents. Cross compound, it's also very simple because it goes with all the employees in the same place, a working place. And the automotive domain, we are starting working with Apple and mobile phone manufacturers. It was actually it was LG before the LG Electronics was closed. We work with them in order to make some pilots, but in general, our goal is to be part of the operating system of each mobile phone. This is what we are aiming in the long term.
Yeah, thank you.
Any other questions for Gabby? Okay, thank you very much, Gabby.
Thank you.
If you're interested, you can fill in the questionnaire and we'll be back in touch with you. Okay, David, perfect. You got it working exactly right. So next, we're coming back to David from RealSpections.
Okay, so hello again, everybody. So my name is David Grün, and I'm the co-founder of SpinTrend Technologies together with Ori Dango. Do you remember the guy checking your rental car with a mobile device last time he came back from a business trip? Now imagine he had to do the same for dozens of cars per hour and with 0 errors. This is typically what is needed at the large vehicle logistic hubs, and because no one is superhuman, it just doesn't work. Vehicles go through inspection points over 3 billion times a year. Most of these times, damage inspection is made by a person with mistakes, but were not simply overlooked for lack of a systematic, scalable solution. This is costing billions of dollars to the industry every year. And this is the reason why we have created RealSpections, the ultimate real-time automatic vehicle inspection and damage tracking solution for large flows of vehicles, which was already adopted by major players in the market. Our mission is to instill trust across all of the handover points of the vehicle supply chain. So how do we do it? We have developed flexible stations that can be deployed at any gateway. The vehicle drives 200 to 35 kilometers per hour. The system captures a 360-degree snapshot of the physical condition of the vehicle. Our AI technology identifies the smallest dent, scratch, or scuff, and the vehicle visual status is instantly updated in a web-based platform. Our approach is to use just enough hardware so as to automatically capture vehicles in an optimal way while remaining truly plug and play. Using this same approach and underlying technology, we developed various applications in order to be better suited for every use case. Have a look, for instance, at our system operating at the port of Ashdod. Our goal here is to inspect the 150,000 vehicles disembarking every year. We embedded our system in a cargo container that is patented to make it easier to move within the port or any other operational yard. And this application is also supported by the Innovation Authority of Israel. We are currently focusing on three major verticals: shipping, operational centers, and vehicle fleets, totalizing an over $10 billion market opportunity just for these segments. Our patent technology is based on two components: a sophisticated camera registration system and a multi-stage analysis based on AI algorithms. This allows us to make the most from 4K off-the-shelf cameras, and it enables us to deploy seamlessly with high accuracy systems in less than 1 hour. Re-inspections is therefore highly scalable, unlike the available heavy stations in the market, and better adapted to large flows than mobile-based solutions. Looking at our revenue plan, our subscription-based model ensures $40,000 annual revenue per unit, with recurring revenues which are higher than 70%. We are moving fast. Our product is operative and is being installed from our major use cases, such as at the port of Ashdod, as well as at customers such as Avis, operational hubs here in Israel, where we are documenting the entire vehicle fleet. We have signed MOUs for deployments in the US and with SEAT in Spain, and are preparing for exponential growth in the coming months. We are seeking an investment of $5 million to help us make every handover point smart faster. To sum it up, Re-inspections is here to enable every gateway with high quality damage detection capabilities. Our patent pending technology enables us to handle for large vehicle flows with plug and play just enough hardware systems. And we have accelerating factor traction with our focus verticals, which by themselves are $10 billion market. Thank you very much. Hope to talk to you further on a one-on-one basis. And love to hear your questions at this point.
Thank you, David. So I'll pass it up to questions. There's interest in the automotive, also on the cities. So happy to hear feedback or questions from any of the panelists. Don't be shy, it's a quiet panel this time.
Jason, do you have a question for me?
You can talk about the implementation. Why don't you mention something about that? If you're talking about a port or with an OEM, what does the implementation look like? How long till you actually can get up and running?
Right. So, the whole idea is really to have just enough hardware that it's plug and play. This is what we're after. We basically, what we do is developing software and creating the application for that software. So we don't want just to be the brain behind it, but really provide a solution to our customers. So at the port, it's pretty simple. We have the container is ready to go. Of course, we'll come and deploy it over there. And then after that, you can actually move it around with no issues. The basic unit, which is the RS scan, which requires, unlike the port solution, which is generator activator, this one requires power. All of the rest is basically cellular data. Everything is uploaded to the cloud. There, it's all edited and can be seen on our web-based platform, on a web-based dashboard, which of course can be connected to any ERP system.
Thank you, David. All right, when anybody's interested to learn more, answer the poll question, and you can also be in touch with us through. Oh, Alex, do you have a question?
Yeah, just a little question. So I think that everybody is interested. So do you have any technologies which can work on a mobile phone? So it's quite, let's say, a big use case and big market.
Right. I mean, our underlying technology can work on mobiles as well. The segments we have chosen to focus on are large flows. Therefore, the mobile is less suitable for this kind of solutions. Usually, mobile works very well. In insurance use cases, for instance, where you have the customer taking pictures of its car before making the insurance policy, and when an accident occurs or something like that. So here in our vision, the mobile is kind of complementary to our services. It's very useful sometimes to have like highlights or anything like that. But basically, as we continue to develop our AI technology, we can also apply for specific use cases according, of course, to the interest and the need. So this is certainly possible to discuss into further details.
Thank you. Okay, I got it.
Okay. Great. Thank you very much, David.
Thank you. Have a nice day further.
Okay. So next, I'd like to call up Tamir from Grip. Tamir, are you here? Oh, you just popped up. 1 second. Tamir, Jarina, can you upgrade him? Let's see. Technical issue, 1 second. Yes, Tamir, I see it.
Yeah, now I was with the user that could not be shared or something. Hi, everybody.
Okay, great. So
Cool.
last but not least, Tamir from Grip, take it away.
Thank you, Jason. Hi, everybody. Pleasure to be here and to meet you. I'm Tamir, CEO and co-founder of Grip, a Israeli startup working in the motorsport industry, really transforming the way this ecosystem is being experienced. And when I talk about the motorsport ecosystem, there are several verticals that we focus on: media, automotive, esport, and gaming, which I will now go deeper into details. For those of you who doesn't know motorsport, or to those of you who are fans, this is one of the top sports in the world popularity-wise, with more than 1 billion fans. Because so many fans and the high reputation of the sport, sponsorships and advertising is a big part of that. And you can see that in the 25% of Fortune 500 detail. 30% of gamers consider racing as favorite genre. So the connection between real racing and virtual racing is a very big thing, which we also take advantage of. And also an aspect of motorsport is the sports car segment in the automotive. Of course, they are both very much related. Manufacturers hope to, as the phrase say, win on Sunday and sell on Monday. And we are also working with automotive companies on the sports car, with 1 million sports cars sold annually. So what we are doing and what is the opportunity? Motorsport in the last decades, of course, we saw a dramatic change in the technology of the cars, but nothing in the way the sport is experienced by all the end users in the ecosystem. And as you saw, the different verticals, there are many, from viewers to fans to drivers to gamers to more and more. And this is what we are doing with our racing media platform, RAMP. This is the initials, racing media platform. It's a real-time data platform that collects data and makes that data useful and usable by the end users in the 4 verticals. We make the data useful by different user interface that are specific to the specific end users, from fans at home to drivers, again, to gamers and betting and more and more. The platform, our RAMP platform, collects data from several input data sources, racing vehicles on the track. We also collect data from sports vehicles that are driving on the track as a weekend drivers, a sports driving activity, and from racing simulators. The data for our system is agnostic for those types of inputs. We analyze it in our cloud platform using proprietary algorithms and create those benefits to all the end users through those interfaces. So I just want to dive a a bit to the traction. This 2021 is the first year that we are selling the platform. We already have meaningful contracts with customers in the racing world with series like DTM, Porsche, Cup, Brazil, and Formula 4 in Spain. Those are big racing series. Porsche not only is now in process of using our product also towards using that in the automotive cars, but also invested in the company 3 months ago. And to better explain about the different verticals, so in media, which is a huge market, we increase media value, sponsorship, and viewership for those 2,000 plus racing series in a B2B SaaS model. Here you can see examples of how you can watch a race using our technology, different data insights layered on the video and also in the second screen app, all to increase the viewers' watch time. We attract younger audience and open monetization opportunities for the racing series. With the automotive manufacturers, we address the sports car market, and it's again a B2B SaaS model. And what we are doing, we are enabling those car manufacturers to increase their customer sense of belonging, essentially forming a community around the brand, and also allowing the manufacturers to offer service-based monetization channels, which they are looking for. In the esport, we give the same things that we give to the fans of real racing or to the drivers of real cars. So imagine that you are a real sim driver. You can get your data analyzed. You can race against real drivers in real time, opening really new racing categories that do not exist until now. And in gaming, we are talking about fantasy and betting, how our data and data analysis can be used for sports betting, which is growing very rapidly. I'm addressing two things. One is the new statistical language that we are developing that allows to bring new betting opportunities and events to allow, let's say, bet scenarios, and also to give those bettors tools to bet accordingly. I wanted to give this quote from Porsche investors that looked for a solution globally to monetize their data and found Ramp, our solution, as the leading product. And now we are, as I mentioned, in the process of implementing it in their activities. We are now raising $4 million in a early growth, let's say, round to accelerate our growth and our customers and sales and customer teams. And yeah, on this year, we already have income of about almost $500,000, which you expect to multiply by 5 times by next year. Cool. And we are a very dedicated and passionate team for motorsport. Can't see ourselves doing anything else, actually.
Thank you very much, Tamir. Great.
Thank you.
I see a question already from Pavel, so please.
Yeah, thanks for presentation. Could you please clarify? I didn't get who pays for this solution? Race organizers or car manufacturers or media companies who broadcast racing, or fans? Who is your customer?
Cool. So Ramp is a B2B SaaS model, SaaS platform. So we work with those racing series. You can call that a racing producer, as you said. He organized the series, the teams, the tracks, everything is under his organization. We work with them. They pay for the use of the system, and we work directly with them. We don't need any third party in our discussion, only the racing producer. With car manufacturers, we work with the manufacturer in a B2B model. He implements the software in the cars, and the customer pays the car manufacturer.
And what is the motivation for race producers to pay you? They provide this as an additional service to their viewers? Oh.
Exactly. The market now, as you know, sports market and is based on viewers. If you have a lot of viewers, then you can accelerate your growth, have more sponsors, more drivers. Those are the needs for every sport. And today, the battle on the attention of the end users, of the fans, is very strong. And what we are bringing them is a tool to attract those new customers, new demographics, younger demographics, And this is exactly fits on their strategic needs of every racing series.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, Alex, I see another question. Go ahead.
Hi, Tamir. So very interesting, but very hard to figure out how can we use it for large size audiences. I mean, for massive markets. So as far as I understand, you are doing a very good platform, which is, let's say, multi-sided. You can do a lot of different use cases. So interesting to understand, in your opinion, what is the, let's say, top-notch use cases with the highest chances to catch the large market share for massive audiences?
Yeah, it's a good question. We see from the 4 verticals that we are now aiming for, we see media with a certain upper limit. It's not a huge market, but it's our way of penetrating the industry. And I can say that we see esport, which I address, the sim racing segment, and the betting one as the major markets for our data use.
So you mean everything regarding the existing, let's say, watching races, right? Formula 1, Formula 2, and so on. NASCAR, probably.
Can you repeat the question, please? I didn't understand.
I'm sorry. So you mean all the cases regarding, let's say, providing you, let's say, features to the watching process of traditional racing series like Formula 1, Formula 2, NASCAR, and so on, right?
I didn't understand.
Okay, I'm sorry. So just not so much of importance, probably. Perhaps we can meet in person and don't waste too much of the time right now.
I will be more than happy.
Okay.
Okay, any other final questions for Tamir? All right, so thank you, Tamir. And that actually wraps up.
Thank you.
As well as wrapping up the Axis corporate event, as well as the entire 2021 Axis Russia. It's been another great event, as you may have heard me say in the beginning, our 6th year running this event, 2nd year virtually. Want to give a huge thanks to our sponsors for supporting us, to all the investors for joining us, corporations, startups, the 8 companies who work so hard. And I think we have an amazing lineup and look forward to seeing deals as well as a lot of partnerships come out of this event. A huge thank you to our team and particularly to Dorina for working so hard on this event. I think everyone here knows Dorina. She's an incredible asset and we're so glad to have her. Thank you so much, Dorina. And to everyone else who has really worked so hard to make this event happen. So now we're not 100% done. We are moving on to one-on-one meetings. So Dorina is putting in the chat the link. It's a different Zoom link where we're going to have breakout rooms. So all the startups are going to be there. If you have a meeting, many of you already have meetings to go there. We'll have breakout rooms for 20 minutes for each one-on-one meeting. So as soon as we finish here, this link is going to close. So I'm going to speak for a few more seconds. Please copy that link now if you don't already have it. We're going to go there. We'll be there for another 2 hours or so. If you requested to meet one of the startups, and you can go there, we will only get that information once we close. So it takes us a little bit of time to evaluate it. So you can go there if you want to meet, and if we have time in the schedule, we'll set it now, or we'll make sure to introduce you later today or soon. We have a lot of follow-up work. Our goal for this event is not just to make an event, but have an event with a purpose to create new deals, new business opportunities. And that's what we're all about at Axis Innovation. So thank you so much, everybody. And we look forward to seeing you in the next room. Bye-bye.